Evening, ladies and gents. Welcome to a very special stream this evening. It is now time for the Season 9 team draw for the MRC Championships. We've just seen, if you were watching earlier, well, we call it the Race of Champions. It was interesting to say the least, I think. Many, carnage, and to say the least. And, well, it was fun. And now we get back down to the serious business of the team draw, preparing for Monday night's opening round here in the Circuit de Arc. I don't even know the name. I can't even remember the name.
Do you know what? We'll just call it Helios Castroneves. Sounds better. It's close enough. Jose Carlos Pacino, that's Brazilian.
It's Autodromo de Hernandez. Some of it. But we're in Mexico. We're in Mexico. That's what counts. On Monday night, we have a few drivers who will be taking to the track very shortly, just to run you through some of the teams that we have. And joining me, you've already heard the man. He is the head of conduct himself. It's Mr. Banshee.
Boom. They don't want to appear in my little conduct world, otherwise I'm going to give them a chin round the chin.
Yep,
but yeah, fun race of champions.
Exactly, wasn't it? And also joining us is the head, or one of the heads of many stewarding. You don't want to be, well, coming up against this man either. Of course, it is the one and only Simba.
Good evening.
Good evening.
That was an interesting race.
Yeah, to say the least.
Yeah, that's one way of putting it anyway.
I can tell you right now, the Mercedes is a crock of...
Well, the McLaren's not much better, so...
I was in a Haas. Speaking of a Haas, Scott's out in a Haas this evening for us.
Oh, him. Is it an equal performance, though?
I think so. I think it is, because that was difficult, to say the least. But it was one of those, it's a learning experience. We'll leave it as a learning experience. And some of the drivers will be taken to the track shortly, so we can just showcase some of the drivers are getting a bit of extra practice in for Monday, you could say. And we'll just, at least we've got something to show you while we go through all four tiers and giving it the draw, so some people kind of know where they are. Of course, the champions from last season get their choice of car, and admin, stewards and commentators get a choice of 3 to 5, and try to give them at least one of those options, just as a little perk and a little thank you for everybody's hard work that they do throughout the season. Many of it, most of it, majority, is behind the scenes till sometimes late at night after race nights. The stewards sometimes don't finish deliberating till well after 11 p.m. and even following days after that. So, without further ado, we will find who is going to be in an Alfa Tauri as where we're going to start.
It's an Alfa Romeo.
It's Alfa Romeo, even. I do apologise. I just saw Alpha.
We'll see.
We're starting with me to go on.
We've got an Alpha, yeah, exactly. We've got the Alpha males, us three. There we go. Happy days. Right, so tier 3. We're going to start with. What?
There's no one. There's not one on track. That's a problem.
Oh, shocking. Connor, get out. So, Alfa Romeo, that lovely team in about 3-4 years' time is going to be called Audi. After today's ultra revealing news, so Alfa Romeo Audi by Sauber. It almost sounds a bit like a kind of phone. Audi by Sauber. In that lineup for Tier 3, I have to say this is one of the most absolutely horrifically abysmal lineups that I've ever seen in my life, and one that God only knows is not going to score any points.
I'd agree.
We have, I would agree with that completely. We have first driver. I don't know why. I'm going to call him Valtteri Bottas. He is, and this driver is nowhere near Valtteri Bottas in any which way at all. I mean, he's closer to James May than anything, to be perfectly honest. And that is the man who at the moment is in the pit lane. Mr. Connor Hardy is going to be in the Alfa.
It's just coming out now.
See?
King Ball job himself.
King Bottle Job. Is that King Bottle Job Bottas?
Yes, that's
There
the
you
one.
go. There you go. Happy days. So there he is. We've got Alfa Romeo, Ferrari engine, lots of Chinese letters on the halo. Looks good. Anyway, second driver is a man that I know very well. A man who has many words to say. Pretty much always rubbish, and likes to sing occasionally if you watch Tier 1. Fireman Pat is apparently quite a good one, although I made one up for Connor, Fireman Connor, which I'm not going to cover off just now. That's me! So I'm going to call myself Antonio Banshee Giovanazzi, because that has an Italian flair. Hello! Although, technically, well no, Cyber Switzerland, so hello! I'm Swiss. No, I don't know. Anyway,
No.
That's the Alfa Romeo lineup.
Wow.
Yeah. No, nothing else to say to that one.
I would move swiftly on before we get.
I'm gonna have to. And unfortunately, both of these drivers are in the pits at the moment, so that doesn't help. So we'll focus on a completely different car instead. So we have for the Alpha Tauris, the baby Red Bulls, we have Tyrone Clear, or TY Clear, and Jens Kuist, or Jenskit, or Jenskit. They'll be in the Alpha Tauri in Tier 3. Yes, I like it. Jenskit button in the Alpha Tauri.
Nice car, to be fair.
As
As two of us can testify to.
Well, to be fair, it won the Constructors' Championship this season, so Tyrone, and Jens, you better do decent this season or else we're coming to get you.
Yeah, they've got a bit to work up to, haven't they? Because it also won the Drivers' Championship.
It did indeed, yes. You scored most of the points, may I add, but anyway.
Big boots to fill in that team.
Yes, very.
But moving on to probably your favourite team, actually. The French Batons.
Oh, God. Have they not been taken over yet?
No, they're still French Batons. With the blue and pink car.
We're on board with now. We're on board with Anton.
And driving for them, we are going to have Tommy Bachmann, also known as Bachmezo, and Steve Jarman, who thinks he's a film star, Kaiser Soze.
Well, I mean, he's prepping for his annual visit to Cannes. There's Steve. He's going to turn up there and go, oui, I drive an Alpine, oui! That's what he's going to do. And Tommy's just going to go, I need a drink. Anyway, and that was my best Finnish accent. Tommy, sorry. Right, Aston Martin, the Racing Point Jordan team. This is an interesting lineup. We've got a barn door that has opened, and the donkey has escaped and been replaced by a Toby Carvery. So we've got Toby Carvery. That's of course Banstorp. Toby Carvery barn door. And
I had to make sure Ryan didn't crash then.
I know.
Well, I know exactly. He would have been licking his lips. The prospect of that. And then we've got, and I don't know where this gentleman is from, but I'm going to imagine that he is some form of loosely referenced Frenchman. However, he plays football. As we know him, Karim Benzema, otherwise known as Brendan Dumoulin. We can call him Moulin Rouge. That's his new nickname for Season 9. Moulin Rouge, scratch charisma. Moulin Rouge is in the Aston Martin. So we've got Moulin Rouge and Toby Carvery.
I think he's, to fill you in, he's Canadian. I think he's living in Germany now.
I know, but
interesting.
I kind of forgot. I just deliberately forgot that bit.
And over to Hodgie to announce a good team.
Well, it depends on how you look at it. If you're a Red Bull fan, yes. If you're a Reds fan, no. Depends. Or if you like being governed and your strategy is plucked out of a hat, like I think numbers at the bingo,
The
then
clan
you
team.
may be a fan of the Maranello-based team. And driving for them is going to be Mr. Sherwin Andrews, otherwise known as Konnichiwa Beach.
The Tier 4 champion.
He is. He certainly is. And joining him in the Reds is Carl Radband, otherwise known as B17 or Bildy Baldy or East 17. And they are.
Wonder if he's going to stay another day.
Was this computer watching the race that just happened? Because I'm sure he was in a Ferrari then as well.
He was. He hit me. He was. I know. I got a good view.
Yeah, there you go.
And now over to Hodges' team for the race.
Moving on.
The Haas. Now, it's not exactly the best looking car, but you've got to say it's got the best team principle.
It does. Yeah.
Gunter is amazing.
He is.
So, driving for them, we are going to have Mr. G-String, Ben Stringer, also known as Stringy B.
Talks with a bit of a high-pitched voice, apparently.
I don't know about that.
I don't know, it might be a bit uncomfortable.
And then we've got the man who maybe likes to use a phone. Did he star in a film? It's Dan Booth, also known as Boothy. Yes, in a phone booth.
Yeah, like Superman.
Flashing.
Quickly changes in a booth.
He's flashing, exactly. Which brings us to McLaren. Now, this Tier 3 McLaren lineup is one that, well, can only be described as the team.
Amazing team. Beautiful team.
Beautiful
Best
team.
livery on the best livery on the grid.
At the moment, yes. Now, we've got probably two individuals who have very strange accents. One of them seems to be a Geordie 1 minute, then a Londoner, then a Canadian, then a German. So he's affectionately known as...
not a Geordie. My girlfriend is a Geordie. He's not. He can try.
Well, he sounds like it, and he can try, exactly. And of course, that is Mr. Sullivan, Matty Sullivan, the man, the myth, the legend. And he is joined by, our very own Mini Max himself, Melvin, our Tier 4 champion from, 2 years ago? 2 seasons ago?
Yes, he was.
Yeah. He is, so it's the MMMs.
Season 6 Tier 4 champion.
There it is.
There you go.
An old Dutch lineup.
I wonder if they're going to have some world champions.
Yeah, we do. And then moving on to the side podless, the wingless, the directionless, the triangle, the former black arrows, the now back to silver arrows, the one that they don't really know what is going on at the moment. For them, we have a man who likes his cereals, whether he likes them with milk or without. That is a rise of concern, you may say. That is Mr. Lewis Kellogg, or Kellogg's, as we like to call him, and he will be joined by
Tony the Tiger.
Tony the Tiger. Tony the Tiger. That's the one. That's the fella. He'll be joined by Rob Smith in the pointed triangle. I see this season. This season.
You're only giving him it for a week, are you?
Yeah. it's a trial and error.
I don't want to do this on a weekly basis, you know.
No.
So moving on to probably what is one of my favourite teams. Pity I didn't win the championship in that one, but moving on. So we have Mr. Stuart Vine, also known as Stu Vine, and we have a driver who's returning as well. It's Lewis Markwick, also known as Mindful Wasp. I think that could be a quite strong lineup.
I think he's going to have a point to prove as Lewis. You know, he's had a season out. I know he's had quite a bit of practice, and it's going to be interesting to see how he gets back on now. I think it's going to be a one to watch. I think in Tier 3.
He was very strong last time he was in Tier 3.
He was.
I mean, he was giving me a hell of a run every week.
Yeah.
He was. talking about talking from the very strong team of Red Bull to the absolutely horrifically weak team that is Williams, because they are just, well, horrible. That steering wheel we hate, but however they have two drivers who will propel them from the back of the grid to at least midfield. But very quick, Mr. Samba beat himself. Whoop, 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 whoop. That is, of course, Kendrick Victor. Do you know what? He sounds like an aftershave. Kendrick Victor. The eau de parfum.
The essence
yes,
of.
Oh, wait a minute. The essence of Kendrick Victor. And he
Do you not think he would sound like a
by...
spy? It's Victor. Kendrick Victor.
Well, could you imagine him though? He would wear a smoking jacket and he would open it up and it would be like filled with peacock feathers and things like that.
I'm just waiting to see Sambal has left the league.
Yeah.
But he would flash his peacocks. That's what he would do.
Shake it up.
But then we have the opposite in Driver 2. What can I say about this
individual
Rotherham boy? Yes.
The sat-nav guided boy.
Yeah, he likes a colour every so often. He would be really good as a train driver because he just has to follow. Anyway, and he does like to get his hood down in his name. I'm obviously referencing Dak Invertible, the man who won season 6, tier 4. No, was he? No, it was last season 7. Yeah, I forget what season we're in. Yeah, Jay is back in the Williams. God help him.
Yes, and that is your tier 3 lineup, folks. So we have in the Alfa Romeo.
A very strong tier.
It is. Yeah, it is a very strong tier. That a lot of strong lineups, a lot of strong pairings in that one. That's going to be difficult, I think, even at this early stage to really call anyone. There's a few standout drivers that you think, like you mentioned, Lewis, to come back and has got kind of a point to prove after his season out. Scratch, we know, is quick. The Alfa Romeo boy is probably not that quick. The McLaren boys, the Dutch coherent there, that's going to be one to watch as well.
It really is. There's quite a few. Well, the Ferrari boys are going to be quick as well.
Yeah, they are.
There's a lot of strong pairings in that tier.
There is. And now moving on to tier 2. And they, of course, they're the openers for our weekly racing at 7 o'clock on a Monday evening. And starting again from the top, we have the Alfa Romeo boys of... Well, there's lots of ways we can go with this, isn't it? It's a brotherly pairing. A lot of brotherly love in here. Hopefully it'll continue through the season and not end in tears and... Well, someone's telltale to mummy and daddy that someone pushed me off into a wall. And apparently one's better than another, apparently. According to Chris Bailey. Honestly, one's better than another. But we have...
that might have caused an issue already.
I think it might have done, yeah. May have done. We have, of course, the Pratt brothers, the Hornet brothers, Dumbest Hornet and Baby Hornet in the Alfa Romeos this evening.
That's definitely going to be an interesting lineup.
It really is. Yeah, looking forward to seeing that one.
So moving on to my team from last season, the Alpha Tauris. We have somebody who came very strong at the end of the season, I must admit. Half of the Constructors' Champions as well. It's Ilyan Maximov, also known as Wumax. And joining him, maybe Christian wasn't too happy with this guy because he seems to have been demoted. It's Tom Brown. So yeah, that's definitely going to be a strong lineup as that one.
Yeah, Mr. Qualifier, who's now kind of got his head into gear in terms of races as well, hasn't he? He seemed to qualify out very, very well and didn't go, once the lights went out, didn't go very well for him, but he seems to have got that sorted at the end of last season as well and had some really, really good results.
Yeah, we were saying this on stream the other night, weren't we? He's become really strong.
Yeah, we were.
As the season's gone on, I think this game really suits him.
It does, exactly that.
And that brings us on nicely to, and here we go. Surprise, surprise, welcome to the Alpine team and the team reveal, boys and girls. Where's our grill? That's the thing, because it's the countdown, boys and girls, hey! Because obviously the only man who could fill that seat is Fanning. I could imagine him sort of dancing right now in his French gear outside of like the big Liverpool Liver building. So, Thomas, you are in, or Thomas, as we'll now call you. And then we've got someone who really needs a bit of blue in their life, possibly in the form of a pill, because Floppy Loppy himself, that is Laurent Fortes. So technically we've got Laurent's. You could just imagine that being a sort of, he'd be a Frenchman with a moustache and he would wax it like Hercule Poirot. And he would go, hello, my name is Laurence. I drive a Alpine. So yeah, we've got the countdown group. We've got the Liverpudlians versus the Frenchies.
That's a strong lineup.
It's definitely a strong lineup, is that one.
Yeah. And then moving on to the green of the Astons, and we have another strong pairing. We have our very own Qatari man, Mr. Alex Edric, is in the Aston, and he has been paired this season with, well, he was styled Mr. Clean. Whether he still is or not, that's a matter to be discussed and debated at length, but he's still our Mr. Clean, he's still our Rob, and it's the Mr. Genie himself in the Aston.
It's Fernando.
It is, yes, stepping away from his beloved Renault and Alpines.
He's done a Fernando. He has. Fernando moves teams, Genie must move teams.
Yeah.
Well, if he's happy with it, it's going to be weird seeing him in green.
Yeah, it really is. I think these next two are going to be weird seeing them in red.
Speaking of which, moving on to the Maranello boys. Now, as we said earlier, champions get ultimate choice, so I decided to maybe do a bit of a Seb Vettel. I've gone to Ferrari.
Dun dun dun.
But I think more shocking, he's probably going to be my teammate. Now,
Hold on. Before you do it, I've got to do the starting light. Boom, 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 boom.
I mean, normally we've only ever really seen him in one colour, and that's papaya. Apart from a few races this season where he seems to be in green. It is the man who started it all. It's Mr. Martin Hills.
Yeah.
Single track will be in a Ferrari.
Shock. That is a shock horror. Yeah. Matteo's done a huge deal there.
He really has. He put some big money on the table for me. I don't know what he's put on there for Martin.
Oof. Need to find that out. I'll speak to him.
A new coffee machine, I think.
I'm not sure I want to know in case he's paid more.
Hang on, we get paid for this? Lots of... Someone keeps telling us this. Never happens. Yeah. Apparently we get paid in the frothy coffee. The shots of it, the picture's not actual. Anyway. The next team. I mean, see, this time in Season 8, when we were just before Season 8, when we were announcing teams, Carl ended up in the Alpines, which I absolutely hee-hawed and peed myself laughing.
I know what's coming.
It gets worse. If you thought the Alpine was bad, you heard nothing yet, boys. We got more for you, because you boy, Mr. Carlitos, you're going to the United States of America, and you're going to be in the Haas. Oh no, look, save me. Because you're going to the Haas. So you'll be at the back of the grid. And joining him, I've just seen Kid Dynamite have a lovely spin. joining Carl in the ass is the only man who you could conceivably call the Cock of Fire. That's right, Jacob. You've been demoted to the Haas. You could be the Terminator, the hasta la vista, baby. And Carl, you can just be...
You can be there.
Yeah.
You're there.
He's going to hate me for this, but and he's going to equally hate that car.
Yeah.
He's actually, we could call him Carl Mazepin.
We could.
Maybe we could just call them the hateful duo.
Yeah, they're both not going to be happy, are they?
In the house.
No. Yes.
It's alright, just go ask Gunther to tell you a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And then when you see the light, I mean, the Haas will never see the bright of the papaya. We'll be too far down the road. And the man who's moving from the red to the papaya is a man, one of the commentary team. It's Mr. Mond. Mr. Monster Andrew Mond is going to be in the McLarens.
Oh, he'll be happy. He's been wanting this for ages.
He has. He will be a happy boy, and he's going to be partnered by, well, his Tier 1 partner in crime in the commentary box, former Tier 1 commentary team, and that is myself, stepping down from Tier 1 down to Tier 2 after what can be described as a season that I don't want to ever remember again at all. I've never ever scored so few points and been taken out and DNF'd so many times. So there we are.
Surprise, surprise!
Hold on. Wait a minute, there's a better way of doing it. Surprise, surprise, darlings. The McLarens are communicating.
I mean, I know Halloween's coming up, but crying out loud. That's going to haunt me for a while.
And that's his normal voice. That's his normal regular.
That's the husky version of Scylla.
Wow.
That's when he goes up to the Highlands and announces, "There's been a murder."
There's been a murder.
Swiftly moving on,
Yeah.
because someone's getting a little creepy.
Yeah, just a bit.
We shall look at the isosceles triangle. It's probably not Toto's best work, that's got to be said. I think this one is going to end up deep down in the dungeons. But driving for him. Now this one's a surprise because it's a driver moving up from Tier 4. Now we haven't moved him on ultimate pace, he's moved by request because he's running no assist and he's trying to get up to Tier 1. It is the man we affectionately call Rotterdam. He will drive the triangle. Now partnering him is a man who seems to like the Honda engine, but he's going to have to get used to the Mercedes engine now. It is the leaky one. It's the hosepipe. It's Sander Hoseman.
Do you know what, right? I've just thought of this. I've also just Googled something, but...
Oh, that's even worse.
Oh no.
Rotterdam, because we're going to now call him Edam, he's shaped like the Mercedes Edam. He's basically driving a load of cheese. So
that car is a load of cheese.
Well, yes, the leaky hosepipe has cheese, yeah. It's brie.
It's pretty...
It's melted as well. Yeah. Probably moving swiftly on before Toto shouts at me and goes, "No, Gavin, no!" Forming the Red Bull lineup. Now this is absolutely superb. Now what we're talking about here is a man who, well, I'll start with the opposite one before it. He's a man who is a little bit foxy. We've called him Foxy Bingo before. Because he is like the Foxy Bingo advert. But then we also
bushy
know
in the
that
tail.
Yes, he's bushy in the tail, yes, exactly. And he's,
it's
he
the
likes
Prison Break fan.
That's it. He's a bit of an After 8 fan as well, because that's clearly why he liked it, and he likes River Song from Doctor Who. So what he did was he put Fox, River 8. So you could imagine him sitting in his suit playing bingo with some handsome individual on his arm and eating after it. It is obviously Mr. Card himself, the Fox River, and he is going to be joined by a man who likes to collect many animals. He's smuggled budgies in himself. He's also had a zoo full of penguins. Well, tonight, Matthew, he is going to have some bull in him. Yeah. That's Calvin, because Calvin is having some bull in him.
Ah, he was going to be the Max Verstappen, is he? The champion.
Yes.
Well, Calvin Max. There you go. Yeah. Hey!
And then back to the other end, and back to the Willy boys. Well, a man who is a local boy to me. And he used to be a rather bit of a fan of the red and the white and the Alfa Romeos, and he's moved to the blues. Where can I find him? There he is. That's Chris Bailey, off track. And that'll be Mr. Morgan Stubbs will be in the Willy Boys next season, and he will be joined by a gentleman who has moved from the Tier 1 down to Tier 2, and it is Alexander Weiser, or also known as Gatian, is in the Willy Boys car. And that, folks, is your Tier 2 lineup for Season 9. And then next, we will be moving to Tier 4. But you're right, that is going to be some serious lineups.
That's going to be, yeah. I actually can't pick
very strong ones there.
Yeah.
I have to say that Alpha Tauri team of Womack and Tom Brown. That's a strong one.
There's too many strong ones there to call, really.
Yeah.
There is. Yourselves, you and Martin, are going to be strong.
Well, I'm hoping so. My last trip to Tier 2 didn't end well, so let's hope this one works out better.
Tier 4.
So,
is it
Tier
you,
4.
Mr. Simba?
I believe it will be, so we'll start back again with the Swedish team. Or Switzerland team, sorry. The Alfa Romeos. So, the first one in the team, I seem to affectionately call him Mr. Rough, but he's also been called Mr. Dingle. People in Discord might get the reference. It's Jonathan Cotterill, also known as Johnny Smooth. Partnering him is a new addition to the league, which is good to see. We've put some advertising out there and we got some new drivers. I believe this one's from America.
Oh, really? Cool.
Judging by his driver profile he put up the other day anyway. It is Christian Emmons, also known as Lost Infinity.
Oh, let's hope he doesn't get lost around the circuits then.
Well, I've also just seen that he's got his Lost Infinity
And beyond.
Yes.
It's not Buzz Lightyear.
Damn. He might have a collection of helmets like Buzz.
Okay. Yes.
Moving swiftly on before I get myself into any more trouble.
We've still got another tier after this, mate. You've got plenty of time.
I know that. Alpha Tauri. Now, we've got another American, the Star Spangled Banner. In that, this is a man who has shared a name with a great Hamilton of Scotland, obviously, the town. This Doug Hamilton, necromancer. Not aware of any other Hamilton. And we've got a man who has clearly been born in the Falkland Islands, because his mum and dad have a surname of Stanley. It could be called Stanley the Bear, actually. Something along those lines. But he has decided that he wishes to be like a Zonda. He's got the power in him. And that is, of course, Samuel Stanley.
And the new gentleman to the league, which is again great to see.
Well, he's reserve that stepped up.
Yeah.
He has. Indeed, he was racing really well last season when he reserved, so got that well-deserved promotion.
There's going to be quite a few of them in Tier 4 by the looks of it.
Yeah, there is. Now looking to the French team, and one man, Mr. Anton, actually going into the pits as we cut to him. So he's thrown the white flag and chickened out and done his stint on those hard tyres. The men in the Alpines this season in Tier 4 are Julian Schoon, or DRS Julian, and he'll be joined by Jordan Byrne, Mr. Jordan Byrne.
I was wondering where you were. Yeah, I was wondering where you were going with that. Jordan Byrne.
So for the Aston Martins, have we got one on track? We have. Mr. Andrews there. Not for much longer. You get the papaya soon.
Certainly does. You see as the light.
So this team is, well, it's another pair of brothers. We could call them the octagons, the squares, the triangles. Or shall we just call them what the rounds? It's Zach and Axel Round.
Yeah, that's going to be good to see, because they're both solid drivers, so that's going to be a really good pairing.
Bit of brotherly love going on.
Yes.
Or brotherly rivalry, whichever one works out.
Yeah, there's too much of this going on. Apparently Zach was born in 2012. He's doing well for a 10-year-old, and Axel was born in 1994. There you go. And that brings us nice. Yeah, exactly. Well, there you go. Or was it 1912 Zach was born on? Ferrari now, and what can I describe about these two individuals? Oh, God, you've given me hard names. Right, I'm gonna say the first one is a man who I could imagine. I'm going to change his surname. I'm going to call him Winkle. It's not Winky, may I add, just before anyone gets involved. It's Winkle. And it is the man who, if you imagined, would sound a bit like Jacksonville, but apparently loves the Milton Keynes. So it's Bart Van Winkle, who's actually Bart Van Schingel. Jackster gets into the Maranello outfit, and he is going to be joined by... And let me get this. Let me get my suitably Eastern European accent on. Nathan Luzinski. Gibbon is going to be in the Ferrari with Jackster, and that's going to be a strong lineup for the Scuderia.
It is. I was just worried about what your suitable accent was going to be. Just the word suitable scared me.
Well, of course it was suitable. It was suitable. It might have been slightly profiling of a nation, but there we go.
Well. Oh, good. So, moving on to their spare parts department, you could say. for
There's a way to make people feel welcome.
The dumping ground for spinners.
Well, these two will actually be really hoping they aren't, and I think one of them is a new driver.
It is, yeah. I can confirm that.
Fantastic. Another one. Great to see that people are joining the league all the time. And that is Suat Saka, or Saka 94, will be in the Haas in his first season in MRC. So welcome to him, and hope he has a good season. And he will have a teammate who I believe, could be wrong, I think he's Portuguese. If I remember rightly. And that is Mr. Paulo Costa in the American outfit.
And again, he's come back.
He has.
He's a returning driver, that's gone up from reserve.
Yeah.
Like Jackster was a reserve who's moved into a permanent seat now as well.
Exactly, and that just shows that if you reserve enough and you check in on time and you're ready to race, when a seat comes up, you will get it.
So now down to, like we say, probably one of the best liveries on the grid, especially the current special one.
Yes.
The McLaren boys. So let's see who Zach Brown has chosen this time. We have someone that Gav's probably not going to like, because I believe it looks like he's a Rangers fan. It's Danny Hall, also known as RFC Danny.
Well, to be fair, he did say to me, bless him, he said, Gavin, please, please, please put me in a car that resembles the superbness of the champions of Scotland, Celtic, obviously. Those who score more points in the Champions League as well. But we thought about it, we considered him, and we know how much he enjoyed the Alpine last year, his blue, white and red. Well, I thought I'd make him more at home with an orange car.
And joining him, speaking of Winkle, it is the Winky this time. It's Kyle Sale. Let's just hope Floppy Lorpy's not around.
Yeah.
Oh, the Winky.
Oh no, this is a good team. This is a good team you get to announce now.
It is.
Oh, I know.
Good friends.
So, well, very much so, but it doesn't mean that they're not going to be slightly ridiculed for being in a purple triangle, a car that looks horrific and handles horrifically and should never be given any airtime. Now, first and foremost, I've got to say, look, it's a silver. Oh no, it's broken down. It's so slow, it is broken down. I mean, it's so slow it could be going in reverse. But it is a man who shares his surname with a big building in London. That is, of course, Lichards. Maybe he scaled the shard and went, hello. And then he is joined by the man, the myth, the legend, the one that, well, enjoys a Mercedes and really should have changed his team. I would have personally put him in a Haas. I mean, he needs to experience something better than that Mercedes, to be honest. But it is the man who has two names that are both first names. That is, of course, our very glorious leader, or one of our glorious leaders out of the two of them, is Mr. Scott Martin.
Yeah, good lineup. Very good lineup. That one there.
It's going to be strong. That'll be a strong lineup.
It will. Yeah, it will.
Definitely should be.
Yeah. And especially the way they finished last season. And you think they'll got to be in the hunt again. But moving over to the next door's garage as the Tier 1 champ, for just getting pushed in there, is the Red Bull Racing, and they are going to be in there. We have Henrik Schmidt, or Schmidt F1, and he will also be joined by Shiran Naidu, or otherwise known as Mr. Spurs, Mr. Arsenal, or Mr. Chelsea.
Charlton Athletic.
Or them.
Yeah, that could be quite a good lineup as well. Both are
I
definitely
think,
strong on their day.
Yeah, I like that lineup. I think that's a good lineup. That and McLaren so far is kind of standing out, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, possibly Ferrari as well. Because Gibbon is quite strong on his day as well. But moving on to the Spinny Boys. Chris Bailey's favourite. So we have Mr. Donny Osmond, James Deardon, and we also now have another returning driver who I reckon is going to want to come back stronger than ever, just like Lewis come back, prove himself, and he is a strong driver as well, so if he can keep his nose clean, he could be one to watch. It's Mr. Adnani, also known as 38.
Yeah, you're right, that strong driver.
Sorry
very
if I butchered
quick
your
driver.
name.
Adnan El... where's he gone? Adnan El Adnani.
Could we just call him Nan Bread?
And there's his name butchered.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Or we could call him El Al Airways, which is an Israeli airline. But yeah, I think Nan Bread suits him better.
Fair. And that's tier 4. That's tier 4 for you folks. That's a good, 38 is going to be a strong one, I think. Now he's come back, and
yes.
you're right, I think he's going to have again, like you mentioned there, Mark, another point to prove.
Oh, I think he definitely is going to have a point to prove.
Does that bring us on then to the mighty tier 1?
I thought it brought us to the end of the stream.
Actually, sorry. Wait a minute. Hold on. I'm just hearing something in my ear. We've got someone. Oh, wait a minute. Oh no.
Is it Gavley?
It's Gavley Pinkham. She's joined us for the final part of the stream. Gavley Pinkham. Oh, hello, boys. How are you? It's Lorraine Kelly here, otherwise known as Gavley Pinkham. Hello. I believe
Hi, Gavley.
I believe I've got to announce some lineups now. Alfa Romeo, apparently. I mean, I like an Alfa Romeo. I mean, I've been in them before, and they've got lovely leather. It's really nice. Put the heated seat on for me, and I'll be fine. It's very cold in the Scottish winter. But I've got a man who is apparently called Jane the Virgin. That's Jay Sarge in the Alfa Romeo. And, I've got another one that sounds a bit like naan bread. Nan panky. Could we just call him Hanky Panky? It's, of course, the Slayer. Alfa Romeo. We could call them the Virgin Hanky Panky team. I do apologise for Gavley Pinkham tonight. She's had a bit too much iron. Boo.
I'm broken.
We're going to be banned from doing this next season, aren't we?
Yes. We're going to be banned from YouTube, full stop.
Yeah. So everybody, we need some new commentators for season 9.
Yeah, we're banning these 3.
Exactly.
Sorry, there'll be no streams this season. We're all banned.
Exactly that. Oh, better move on before you get any more trouble. Move on to the Alpha Tauris, and we have got one of the strongest drivers of last season moving across, and that is Mr. Rhys Wickham himself is stepping into the Alpha Tauri.
It's snowy.
Yeah. Oh no, wasn't he Ginger? It wasn't. His mate was calling him on the stream.
He was Snowy Owl at one point, according to Gav.
Snowy Owls? Oh,
yeah,
yes, Witteroo.
Yeah, Witteroo.
It's about midway through the season.
Yeah.
Nah, that was it.
Yes. And he will be partnered by, I think this might be his second season, I could be wrong. Former from Tier 2, was in Tier 1 last season, had a decent season, got to admit. A few results didn't go his way, but it is Mr. Damien Lugos, which is Dam Olek, is in the Alpha Tauri.
Yeah, he got promoted, I believe, after the first race last season, because he started in Tier 2, but he went up to Tier 1. I can't remember why, but yeah, he had most of the season there.
Yeah. Thought he would.
So then moving on to, is it Gav or Gavley's favourite team? The French Batons.
Oh, I do like a French baton. Put some ham and cheese in it.
Gavley, it's a Rangers wagon.
Oh, we don't like that at all.
So I'll just get it announced quickly so we can move on then,
yeah? Please.
Yes.
So we have... Oh, it looks like your teammate from last season, Mark.
It is. It's
Mr. Stefan Rack, is it? Also known as LRL. And he's partnered by Mr. Sargent's old teammate. It's Mark Ainley. So that could be quite a strong lineup, could that?
Yeah, I think Mark had fell away a little bit end of last season in the middle part, but he's definitely one to keep your eye on. And Stefan obviously finished the season really, really strongly. Shame about his teammate. He was just absolutely pathetic, his teammate last season. But he's...
Well, now we can go a bit pathetic in Tier 2.
Well, let's hope not.
Wait a minute. Was it not Calvin that he was his teammate in his final race? Have we seen Calvin?
It was,
that bad
Calvin had a
McLaren?
fantastic race in his last race. I was ill, I couldn't race.
Yeah.
Excuses.
Well, yeah.
I've just I've got a little friend on the phone, Gavley's mother.
Oh God.
Agnes Pinkham has joined us, and she was desperate to be involved. She doesn't get out very often. It's
not Mrs. Brown's boys, you know.
We're just going to start calling him Seth MacFarlane. With all these different voices.
Agnes wants to talk about Aston Martin in Tier 1. Now, Agnes has promised me that she'll keep it clean. No filth. No innuendos. So I'm going to hand over to Agnes.
Hello there. I'm Gavley's mother, Agnes. And I've got some people in Aston Martin that begin with A's. I've got a man who's from Spain, but he's actually German. Don't quite know how that works. Maybe he was born on the border on a plane or something, I don't know. But Alex Gizuku, although it sounds a bit like Gisaki. I'm not quite sure that's what we should be saying, but anyway, Saviour, he's in the Aston Martin, and he's joined by a man who likes to build flat furniture. I've been told that he could come over to my house every day. I've got lots of things he could do. I thought his name was Craig. It's not. It's Alexander Grubble. He sounds a bit like that baddie off of Die Hard. Not quite sure, Hans Gruber or something like that. I mean, I could imagine that he's got that type of face. Sort of Hans Gruber or something like that. But he is Alex Gizuki and IKEA. I'm going now to go and watch some TV before I go to my bed. I need to have a little dram.
Oh, thank you for joining us, Agnes.
God forbid we ever have Agnes back on. That was disastrous.
We're going to run out of time on the stream here.
We are.
Run, quick.
Right, we're on back to the Maranello boys, and we have the champ, who is actually in the pit lane at the moment, Mr. Dynamite, has chosen to go from the Blues to the Reds, and he is in a Ferrari next season. And he is joined by a man who is a little bit posh, with a double-barrel surname of all things. Actually had a really good season as well last season. So this is going to be a very strong lineup. And that is Mr. Nick Bannon-Thomas, or Nick BT.
It's definitely going to be one to watch.
Yeah.
Oh, the kid will be happy. He's been wanting the Ferrari for quite some time. But it seems to be the champion's choice this time.
Yes.
So moving on to what you referred to as their spare parts department. The Haas team, which you drove for the race, and Scott is currently driving around the track.
Yeah. Loving every minute, I'm sure.
We have for them somebody who was a very reliable reserve in Season 7 and got his permanent seat in Season 8. It is Seppi, also known as SW. And speaking of reserves getting full-time seats, we have another one. Let's hope he don't go silent on us, because he's known as the Chatty Duck. It's Neville Harris.
Yeah, he's good as well when he gets a chance as well, so that's going to be good.
Yeah, Alan Carr himself.
Yeah.
Which brings us nicely on to McLaren. Now, I've got to say I've got very fondness of one of the drivers and an absolute hatred for the other, where he's got his PSN name starts with pretty much the letters of the word France, which I think you should change relatively quickly. I know your name is Francesco, but I'm sorry, I cannot accept France or 5. So I think you should change your name to not the French 5. It's Francesco Matti. He sounds Italian. Don't know why he's in McLaren. And why would the Italians want to be any connected to the French? Shocking. And he is going to be joined by a man who loves to get right in deep into a Toby Carvery. Nope, it's not Banstorp's brother. It's the man from Red Car himself, the Steelworks, the Steel Hard Man, Red Car Rambo, Mr. Ryan Barber.
Yes.
Back in McLaren.
Another one who wanted a Tier 1 chance, so
And you'd have to say it deserved. I think he up and down last season, wasn't it? But the season before he was strong, and I think he'll hold his own up there. And he'll have a good season.
Well, he's jumped into your seat, so
just keeping
let's
it warm.
hope so.
Just keeping it warm for me.
It's like you two have swapped.
It is actually, yeah, isn't it? So, moving to the pointed triangle, where is on track? There it is. Mr. Edens is in the pointy triangle, the silver star, and it'll be driven in Tier 1 by a man with many, many names. And his PSN, you'd have to say, it looks like something a teenage girl created on MSN, with all the X's and kisses and so-and-so loves so-and-so forever and ever. There can only be one man. I'll just leave it as G-Star. He can pick me, or he can pick it up. It's Ben Vander Hemster. Is the XX G-Star Snipes XX. I think Vin Diesel's missing. He's part of the Vin Diesel franchise, isn't he?
No, he's missing an X.
He's missing an X. Yeah.
Oh God.
I miss those MSN days. Anyway.
You could imagine though that on MSN he would have had the wee kissy emoji either side of his name.
Yeah, or a love heart and a kissy and a rose.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
That's the one.
Or a tulip.
A tulip. That's the fella.
Well, is he Dutch? His name sounds Dutch.
Could be.
Yeah, they grow tulips.
They do.
Ben, tell us. Yeah, Ben, tell us if you like tulips.
Or still use MSN.
Yeah.
Does that even still run?
Oh, probably.
His teammate in Tier 1 is, quite a nice and easy one, his PSN is the same as his surname is Damiano Ujoni, is moving across to the Stars this season.
That's a bit of a shock jump from Red Bull to Mercedes.
Yeah.
Don't see that very often. Speaking of Red Bulls, we have the MRCX Elite Champion from Season 8. It's Hilbert Borger, also known as Erapel. Joining him is another reserve. He was actually a Tier 2 reserve, but he's accepted a seat in Tier 1. I believe he's on track at the moment.
Yep, just found him.
It is Anthony Huxley Nato, also known as Anton... YX.
Or LFC, and is his Discord. Yes.
I think I changed that.
He sounds like the old Netto supermarkets. We could just call him Tesco. We could just call him Tesco.
Yeah. Anton Tesco.
Anton Tesco. There you go. And Tesco. There you go.
So that brings us on to the final Willy Boys.
The Willy Boys. And I mean, all I've got to say about these two is they are the kings of the Williams. They go to Jose Capito every season and go, Jose. They get on their knees. They look up to Jose and go, Jose, give me more. Please, don't get rid of me. I'm sorry I crashed out and disappointed you for most of last season. However, please keep me. And we know that one of them is a man who is an older gentleman who likes to take photos. And the other one is a man who, he loves to cockle pick out in the Morecambe Estuary. Of course, it's Mr. Blowhole Bailey, who was born in 517 AD, and Kyle Bergen, who was born in 1510, both very old, elderly gentlemen, so we have to applaud them.
One of them is currently doing a donut.
Yes, he knows he's on the stream, that's why. He knows, he's a showboater.
I mean, to be fair, right, I mean, he's got a yellow helmet, he needs to go and get that looked at.
Well,
I
that
think
brings
that's
us to
us.
the end of it.
It does. There, if you manage to make it to the end without laughing and actually understanding what on earth the three of us were talking about, because, well, we don't know, to be perfectly honest. We mentioned a few names and a few teams and goodness, and a few guest appearances from some questionable characters. But there we are, folks. We have all 4 tiers, and the draw has now been made, and we will go racing on Monday evening here in Mexico. I still don't know the name of the track, and that's hecky thump. That's, I think, I've just realised who that is.
Yeah.
We've got Birkin and Bailey together. We're getting the love taps in already. Before we even start. So there we are, folks. We will be with you in, what's that, 5 days' time?
Yeah.
And it'll be lights out. Hopefully, it'll be nice sunny weather once again, like they have here tonight, because this place can be treacherous in the wet. But thank you for joining us. We've had a laugh. We've had a ball.
Yep.
I don't know what information we gave you that was relevant. Probably not much of it.
Nothing.
Not at all. And thank you for joining us. We will put everything on Discord. All the teams will come on our Facebook and our Instagram, all social media channels as well, very soon. And of course, like I say, the Discord as well. So thank you for joining us. We will be here on Monday evening from 7 o'clock. We'll bring the first Tier 2 action, and then Tier 1 will follow approximately 8:45. All that's left to say is thank you to my compadres, my brothers in arms. It is Mr. Banshee Gar and Mr. Simba Mark. Thank you, gents, for what's been a very fun evening.
Always is.
It is.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us again.
Yes.
We
Again.
probably won't get invited back next season.
Probably not.
No.
Probably not.
No.
But thank you, everybody, for watching. Hope you enjoyed it like we did. And we will see you on Monday evening for Season 9 of MRC. Thanks very much, everybody, and we will see you then. Good night.
Good night.